Well, it really is a privilege to have the opportunity to come back to the Claydor family. I've enjoyed attending the meetings, and I must say that Stefan and the board have really done a fantastic job with the quality of the meetings and the guest speakers. I've long had an affection for the concierge profession and Lake Claydor, having been a full member of Lake Claydor in Ireland. Just to let you know a little bit of my background, I was born in Sweden, half Swedish, half Irish, a wee bit Scottish, and lived also in Sweden, Ireland, England, Australia, and Canada. I went to university in Toronto, studied international studies there, and lived in Toronto for many years. And after university, I worked in retail management and airline management before ultimately entering the world of hotels. When living in Dublin, I started my first concierge position with the Four Seasons Hotel. It was a fantastic concierge team and truly a great place to start my induction into the world of concierge. Working at the Fitzwilliam was a most rewarding experience. During my time there, it went from a 4-star to a 5-star accreditation. I had a fantastic general manager there, John Kavanagh, who was truly a great boss and a fine hotelier who I learned a lot from. The Fitz was really an amazing place to be, especially at a time when Dublin was really booming. After several years at the Fitz, well, about 4 years, I embarked on a career as a hotel consultant and evaluated hotels all over the world. I inspected about 500 properties of various luxury brands, and during my travels I worked very closely with concierge teams in many different countries. After several years of traveling, I missed being in one place, and I was truly delighted to move to Vancouver, back to Canada, and also as management at Renfrew, working with the concierge department there introduced me to many connections in the city. Vancouver is truly a beautiful city, and it is wonderful really to have the chance to experience all the city has to offer from the perspective of a concierge. Being a concierge is really quite a fun job when you think about it. We are certainly very lucky to work in a position where we really have the opportunity to provide the finest service experiences. I think, in my opinion, really more so than any other department in a hotel. I've always loved the international aspect of being a concierge, being able to give expert local advice, but also having the occasion to interact and relate to people from different countries. I find it great fun to chat with guests from different countries. I speak French, Swedish, a little German. Le français est la langue originale de Claydor. French for you. In Deutsch, ich habe einen goldenen Schlüssel. Ich habe 2 golden Schlüssel. I have 1 golden key. I'd like to have 2 golden keys, please. In Swedish på svenska, jag har en nyckel, jag skulle vilja ha 2 nycklar. I quite enjoy also different accents. I don't know if any of you have done this embarrassing thing of kind of picking up the accent of the person you're speaking with. For me, it sort of comes naturally at times. And the other day I had these Australian guests. They came up to me and they asked me, they said, "Oi mate, concierge, do you know the way to the Harbour Seaplanes?" And I don't know why, but I kind of replied, I was like, "Oh yeah mate, what you got to do is, you want to go down Thurlow Street, down to the bottom there, down the steps, and bingo, they're right there." And they asked me, "Are you Australian?" I said, "No mate, no, I'm Irish." Actually, that didn't happen. I know Stefan's looking at me. No, to be honest, I am usually quite professional and polished. I do pick up a wee bit of the accent of the person I'm speaking to, and that's my Scottish coming out now and again. In all seriousness, I am impressed with the role of language in the concierge profession. And one moment that I remember well was when visiting the Georges V in Paris. I was really impressed with the language skills of the concierge. I was speaking with a concierge there named Damien, initially in French, and I thought he was a native speaker. And during our conversation, I learned that he had transferred from the Four Seasons Park Lane in London. And so we started speaking in English, and he spoke in a very posh accent. And anyway, it turned out he spoke 6 languages, and I was in all fluently, without accent, and I was truly inspired by that at the time. I cannot claim to be a polyglot of that caliber, although I do attempt to learn useful phrases of languages. I find it helps with our interactions with guests, and it makes them feel welcome. I have to say, many concierges have impressed me during the years working in hotels. I think we can learn a lot from each other and sometimes incorporate that into our own routine. I remember when I worked at the Four Seasons in Dublin, I was lucky enough to work with a British gentleman there named Graham Tompkins. And he was an established career concierge who transferred over from Four Seasons London Park Lane. And he was always very polite, very knowledgeable, yet ever so humble, and truly a model of how a Playdoor member should be. Another chap I worked with in the Four Seasons in Dublin was David McNally. He was also a member of the opening team, not previously a concierge, but absolutely brilliant, so well spoken, and really one of the best concierges I've ever seen in action. And I learned a great deal from these individuals as I started out my career in hotels about 10 years ago. At the Fitzwilliam, my assistant head concierge, Miracle Corbella, who I snatched from the Four Seasons in Milan, was also a natural at the job. And now at the Shangri-La, I work with a brilliant team, from the traditional qualities of Stefan to the energetic style of Jeffrey Victor, who's not only a great concierge, but also a very talented actor. I consider myself fortunate to work with such talent, because although we all have a different style and bring a different sort of style to our desk, we can really learn a lot from each other as well. I'm passionate about being part of this organization. I've had the chance to get involved a fair bit this past year. It's really been great to have the chance to get to know the BC region of Lake Playdoor. I'm amazed with the organization and talent of the members in this region of Lake Playdoor. Comparing with my experience in Ireland, I think the BC region of Lake Playdoor is even more professional. There are also many great things about Lake Playdoor in Ireland. It's been established since 1957. When I was a member in Ireland, the great Dennis O'Brien, I know some of you know, was the international president. The meetings in Ireland were quite brief, in fact. We sat around a board table, usually just around a dozen of us, and there was a reading of the minutes took place, onto some business, and then off to the pub it was. But actually there were some great outings organised, and there was a great deal of respect towards the Playdoor Society in Dublin. But another thing which impresses me with the Playdoor here in Canada is the amount of women represented. In Ireland there was something of the old boys network going on. There were relatively few women. In fact, when I was there, there was just one. She was American. But I think it's really great that here both sexes are represented. I must say it really has been rewarding to get involved with many of the events that we've participated in this year, working with David Reed on Taiwan On It was great fun, and we also raised a lot of money for Le Clé volunteering for the Tourism Showcase was a good experience and a great way to meet industry partners. Working with Joanne Lewandowski on tip golf was a great experience, and we managed to get some amazing prizes. And attending the meetings and numerous events the past year have been very informative and also helpful to my job. I've also enjoyed writing restaurant reviews and was honoured that my review of Chin Chin was recently selected for the annual edition of the Essential magazine. What I've enjoyed most though about Le Clé d'Or really is the people. I value having the occasion to meet fellow concierges, exchange stories, and also have a bit of a laugh. There are many professional concierges in this room tonight, but also a lot of wonderful human beings. And I'd also like to thank Stéphane Moutet for encouraging me to get more involved, and also Jeff Argue for his words of wisdom, and lots of other people as well. Sharon MP, Rinda Doman, I could name loads, but thanks very much for all your support and help. So I humbly ask you to accept me as a full member to Le Clé d'Or Canada, and I hope that as a full member I'll be able to make a positive contribution to Le Clé d'Or Canada here in British Columbia. Thank you.